Hi everybody, and welcome to my June Plan with Me video. This time I'm going for a berry dessert theme, and I'm happy that I can tell you that I love how it turned out. It's very cute and summery, and I also love the colors. I know I am not the first one who creates a theme like that, and even though I didn't take inspiration from anybody in particular, it reminded me of Julian's Kirby and Strawberry Shortcake theme and also of her November Bakery theme. So shout out to Julian Doodles. Definitely check out her channel if you don't know her yet. I'll put the link in the video description box. My initial plan was to use a thicker fine liner for the outline around the illustration, if you know what I mean. It makes the doodles pop out a lot more, and I didn't do that for a long time. You will see it later in my other spreads, because when I finished the outlines of the cover illustration, I liked the delicate look of the thin outline too much and was afraid the thicker one would ruin the vibe, if that makes any sense. This time I actually used many colors and way more pens than I'm comfortable with, to be honest. But since there are only like 3 different color families, it still doesn't look overwhelming. So I'm not afraid that I could start hating this theme after a while. I tried to attempt this spread in the same way I do for my illustrations and didn't try to limit my color palette too much. And since this worked out way better than I expected, I'm now actually wondering why I struggled so much for the last few months. But somehow I was stuck in my opinion that I have to use as few different colors as possible in my bullet journal themes. But I think it's time to let it go after my April theme disaster, where everything turned out so sad and grey. I'm using a lot of decorative elements like blobs and grid patterns and washi tapes for backgrounds and empty white spaces. I was actually very surprised how many different washi tapes I found that matched the colors of the theme. I decided to go with the grid washi tapes I got from the Washi Tape Shop and the thinner pink ones from Stationery Pal. I have discount codes for both shops if you're interested in getting some washi tapes for yourself. Check out the description box. I'll also list and link all of the other supplies I used for the setup there too. For my quote page, I couldn't get around using the most cliché quote ever for this theme, which says, "Stressed is just dessert spelled backwards." I just couldn't resist. It's cute and just matches the theme so perfectly, and I don't regret it at all. I decorated the quote with some more berry doodles and a little heart-shaped waffle. Oh, and before I start something in the comment section, I better mention that I know that strawberries aren't botanically classified as berries actually. But I'll just continue talking about berries throughout the video because it's a lot easier, so I hope you don't mind. In the end, I added more color blobs and washi tapes and also removed some because I didn't like its placement and added some highlights with my white gel pen. It seems that these pens are very camera shy though. I barely got any ink out of it this time, so I went over it again later before I filmed the flip through. Next up is my monthly calendar, and I went for my go-to full spread layout again. I already know that June is going to be a crazy busy month, so I'll definitely need that space. I started with the doodles, and this time I did the thick outlines around them I was afraid of for the cover illustration, but I honestly love that bold and kinda graphic-y look too. As I already mentioned, it makes the doodle really pop out of the page. I keep switching between the two styles throughout the entire setup because I like both of them, but let me know which one you prefer, I'm really curious. When I started bullet journaling, I did this so often because I loved it so much, and I honestly can relate to past Laura now. For the thin outlines, I'm using a Sakura Pigma Micron 01, and for the thick ones I used the 08 in case you'd like to know. To make this theme more fun and less repetitive, I went for different kinds of desserts for each spread. For the calendar spread it's waffles, obviously. And all desserts I'm drawing contain berries, which makes everything still look very cohesive. I almost forgot my social media growth trackers, but to be honest, I am only still using them because they fill space. Focusing on numbers too much is not healthy at all, and to be honest, it's only fun when you're constantly growing. My social media platforms, though, have come to a point where there's a lot of fluctuation going on, and all in all, I have made peace with it. But sometimes it can still be very frustrating to see that I lost more subscribers than I gained, and I don't want that to be something I worry about all the time. Especially this time around when I'm experimenting and trying out more different kinds of content. So maybe or probably it's kind of a double standard to say I don't want to focus on numbers so much anymore, but still keep the social media growth trackers. What do you think about that? Do you post on social media platforms as well? And if yes, how do you deal with numbers? Back to my June setup though. For my tracker spread, I went back for the graphs again and created 2 illustrations of different kinds of cake and also did the thick outlines again. I'm actually enjoying my May trackers too, but I already missed this layout, to be honest. I just like the way the graphs go across the binding so neatly, and I don't really know how to describe it any better, but for me this just has something so satisfying to it. I'm very excited to start working on my Patreon goodies for this theme, especially the sticker sheet. I don't want to create too much hype, but I have high hopes for the printables to turn out really cute, and I hope my patrons will like them. Speaking of Patreon, my first anniversary is in a little bit more than a month. I started my Patreon almost 1 year ago, and I remember how nervous I was because my expectations were like I'd announce it, nobody would join, and I'd quit after a few weeks. But I'm truly grateful that didn't happen. I would have missed out on the best feeling ever when a kind soul that sincerely likes your work decides to support you. This is getting emotional, and I'm not good at stuff like this, but thank you to everyone who joined me in this journey at some point. I will be forever grateful for your support. We're finally on the last spread for the setup, and it's as always my first weekly spread, and this time I'm going for a Dutch door layout containing the first 12 days of June. The illustration for this spread is very huge and detailed, so I'll keep everything else quite simple. I'm drawing a big cup of ice cream with a little ribbon with June written on it on the bottom. And for this one I didn't use the thick fine liner, and I'm still not able to decide which style I like better. But it seems that I tend to go for a more delicate look with thin outlines when the illustration includes glass, and that actually kinda makes sense in my opinion. For my daily to-do lists, I just created these headers for the days of the week and added a thin line with the date at the bottom of each box. After cutting the flap, I added more berry doodles to the right side of the spread and also a weekly events bar. Now that I'm recording this, I realize that weekly events doesn't make sense to caption that bar with. That includes 12 days, which is more than a week, obviously. But it doesn't really bother me either, so let's welcome that nonsense instead. And that's it. But before we do the flip through, I'll add the names of my newest patrons to my bullet journal. Again, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it so much. If you'd like to join too, you can find the link in the description box. I offer different printables that match my monthly themes every month. I'll upload a little preview picture in my YouTube community tab as soon as the June goodies are available, so stay tuned. Anyway, here's the final flip through. If you made it all the way through this video, let me know which dessert you want to see in my weekly spreads. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.